I just asked a question to the chat, and right now it's 100%, so I'm going to ask this one to Herman. So everybody in the chat said yes to this question. Will the Detroit Lions win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? Herman Moore.
I can't say that definitively. No.
Chrissie.
No. And you know where I would feel better off saying that? If I felt more comfortable and had the stability of the backup quarterback position. If I knew that the running game was going to be settled. That's just the offensive side. I feel good about the offensive line.
If Herman knew that there was talent at every position that could dominate, then he could say yes.
But I don't know who's going to stay together. Like right now, this could look totally different again next year.
It'll come down to the kicker.
What will come down to the kicker?
Whether we win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure it always does. I don't know if we'll be coming into any playoff NFC conference championship games where the kicker wasn't needed. At this point, I don't know if I can go for that one. I can't definitively say it's Super Bowl, but I will say this: inside of the next 5 years, I would expect this team to be in the playoffs 2 to 3 times in the next 5 years.
Ooh.
Can they win a Super Bowl? Not sure about that. And I'd say that because I've looked at the NFC North, and I'm looking at those that are leaving and moving over, and the swaps that are taking place at the different conference levels. I don't think there's any more real super dominant teams because they're starting to fall apart because of the money, and people are chasing, like you see in the NBA. Everyone's looking for that dream team, and you're going to get guys that are going to be willing to take less money to go play places that are stacked if they can, and if their contract allows them to get out.
The 97 Florida Marlins.
And I just think you're going to have that run that's coming up. The Lions will be playoff bound team. I can commit you to that. Where they go from there and winning a Super Bowl, I don't know. That's a tough read for me right now still.
We got little homie right here. She's been part of the organization for a long time. Will the Lions win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years?
I'm not going to give an answer as long as Herman's. But.
Ouch.
Number one, they have to keep the same coaching staff. Number two, they can't make any knee-jerk responses to something not going the right way any given year. Can't be any knee-jerk firings, knee-jerk things like that. Still can't say yes. But I'm with you. I'm with you on the playoff team. I am. But no, I can't commit. I can't commit to Super Bowl in 5 years.
The 100% question, if the question is, would you like for them, or would that be an awesome thing for them to go to Super Bowl? Absolutely. Do I absolutely want them to? Yes. I think all players, especially if I'm playing with them, you want these players to go to the Super Bowl. Every team wants that.
I mean, to me, the conversation of will a team win a Super Bowl is when you're talking about the teams that are already in contention, and you go, do they have that? Are they going to have that missing piece to go to a Super Bowl? I think in this case, it's like, are they going to become a contention team? Are they going to?
Everyone's looking at what happened with Cincinnati.
Yes.
Everyone's looking at, you always get those teams in 3 to 5 years that come out of nowhere. They look like their team was completely imploded, and now they're winning their division, they're leading their conference, they've only lost a game or two, and now they're the hot team running into the playoffs. And unless they get dethroned by a much more veteran team or different coaching staff that's a little bit more savvy and a little bit more proven and battle tested, typically you will find it. Will the Detroit Lions be one of those teams? Can they be one of those teams? Yes, but it all goes back to that one thing. They got to get to the dance. They got to get to the playoffs before we can even have that as a conversation. And to go from not being able to get there to all of a sudden saying, I'm going to win a Super Bowl, it's just not that easy. It's just not that easy.
Ask us after 3 games.
Yeah.
Or 1 game.
I do got something to confirm with you, though. It was Matt Russell who blew you up.
Matt Russell.
Spanos.
That was that Matt Russell, man. Blew me up.
Wonder where Matt is now.
It hurt my feelings, man, because I was like, dude, and Matt and I, we were like,
you guys were tight, clearly, because you knew his whole name. I'm like,
for him to just straight up, your starting receiver, man, and you just
you and Matt the linebacker were tight.
Like Matt, we've gone out to lunch and dinner and stuff like that, man. When he's in town or whatever, he's come back, man. We've hung out and stuff. Yeah, I'm just saying, man. On the field, you're just gonna just blow me up like that, man. That's just, I felt some type of way. You know what I mean?
Matt.
Yeah, Matt Russell.
Got to get him on the podcast. Talk about the blow up.
We'll see if we can find him. I'm gonna see if I can locate him so we can come back and tell that story. Find out what the hell he was thinking.
Dose, do we go to the Super Bowl in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I'll keep it short too. But Chrissy was spitting some facts there. Because here's my thing. It's as simple as this. The reason that I have any hesitation is because of the ownership. It's because of them making those crazy decisions and not sticking to what, they believed in and they put together. But with that said, I believe what we've seen so far, that Sheila Ford Hamp is doing that. And as long as these are the head coach and Brad Holmes is the guy and Dan Campbell's here for the next 5 years, yes, they will win the Super Bowl. Because as we said before, that's the expectation. They will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Because a rebuild doesn't take 7 years to make happen. It'll happen if it's going to happen. So yes.
Anthony.
I'm with Dusty on here. Herman will tell you as a player, there is one reason to play in the NFL. That is to win a Super Bowl. And what you're effectively saying is if you can't see us in a Super Bowl within 5 years, you don't trust Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to get you there, because that is a long time, considering they've already had a year. You're saying you don't trust them to get you there. So why are we bothering with them if we don't think they can get us to a Super Bowl? 6 years is a long time in his team building it. So I have to believe deep down that they can get us there. And I think Brad Holmes is smart enough to construct a roster. He's done it very quickly so far. He's changed it very rapidly. I think within 5 years, he'll have a roster assembled capable of doing it. And we can at least make a good effort of going. But why bother if we don't believe we can't get there?
It's a good one. Folks,
can I add one little thing to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
One real quick thing to that. I have to. On the trust, Anthony, on the trust, it's not so much it's the trust, it's the lay of the land now in the NFL. Players, they chase for different reasons. Back in the day when you didn't have the salaries you have now, you didn't chase the money, you chased the ring. Now players will chase that. It's not about Brad Holmes, it's not about Dan Campbell. It's about who's got the better opportunity long term for the paycheck, because I know this is a short career. Guys are very focused about getting in and out as quickly as they can and making what they can and they can't. It's not about the Hall of Fame. That the number of guys that are looking for that in championships right now, I don't think is at the height it used to be.
Well, and cap and salary management, like when we had Sue, Stafford, and Calvin, like the majority of our money was tied up in those three players.
But and that's what I'm saying, though. The player, I think some of it is, it's not so much as cut and dry and easy as we can predict. We used to be able to predict. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely think that Brad Holmes, I think that the coaches, the management love him. I think they've done a really, really good job putting them in the best position to win. I think they've done the best they could with the players that they've had to work with. But I just think there's so much unpredictable factors that could ultimately destroy your team that no longer is based on, I mean, I could just not like you as a coach and you didn't play me well and I feel like it should be better. Now you've lost depth in your position behind your starters because they see greener grass and pasture somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So that's all. So we're saying to say, that's what I don't trust. I want to make sure it gets understood. I don't trust that part of it. And that's where I just don't know.
He does what he's saying is he does trust. He likes the coaching.
I like the coaching staff, like the culture, loving I haven't been this happy about it since Coach Caldwell. But the NFL, man, it's a changing game. And if you got the money and you got the attraction like Vegas, you can get some players, even if you're not going to win Super Bowls, but you can go attract a lot of really good talent. That was my question. Like, what do you expect when you go to I'm interested to ask all the others that are on. What is your true expectation? I don't want to hear about you're wanting the offensive unit to get better and play well. No, what are your expectations, truly? Because you're defining to support an organization, to support a team, to follow a sport. financially, mentally, physically, emotionally. What are you expecting out of it in return from them?
I expect to play to win the game. I want to win the game. That's it. Just win.
Just
I want
win
to
the game?
win. I want to see a winner. I want to see a winner in Detroit. This
So
city
you want
deserves a
championships,
winner.
right?
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
want
want a
championships?
championship.
No, he
Why
doesn't want
can't we
championships.
be?
He prefers mediocrity.
No, he just say he just wants to win. I mean, it's like, you know,
I
couple
want to
games,
be like
3 games,
a New England
be above
Patriot
500.
fan, where you just
You
sit
know?
back and my team's a winner. My team's always winning. I'm an Oregon Duck fan, so my team wins quite a bit. Like, you just used to the winning. In Detroit, it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's like I was a Braves fan in the 90s. You just won.
Right. What you got, Ant?
See, for me, I just, I want a team who I can see is getting better and will eventually, get to a championship. I want to see us win championships, but, you have to start small. You have to have baby steps. We've had so many years of disappointment and that I just want to see tangible progress year on year, and we get better, and then we eventually reach our ultimate goal. I mean, the whole point of the reason I love the Lions, over here in the UK, my soccer team who I support here, we play 4 divisions below the Premier League. It's a small club, about 4,000 or 5,000 fans here. It's not the biggest in the world, and you go through a lot of bad years. We've had a lot, and year after year, it doesn't matter how bad it gets, I still go with the same optimism that I have with the Detroit Lions here. I've been doing it for 25 years now nearly, and the one year we eventually made it to Wembley. We won our trophy there. It's probably the only time I'll ever see them do it in my life. But year after year I did it, and eventually we reached there. We got to where we wanted to, and I'm going to remember that for my entire life. It's the same with the Lions. I just want to see them get better. I want to see them get there and win. But it is a long, tough process. But I know what the feeling's like when you eventually get there, which is why I always remain optimistic and try and look on the more positive side of things. Because I know what happens when you get there, and it's worth every step of the way you've been with them.
Those.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that you said that, because you sound like when I talk to my dad. I'll talk to him and we'll talking about we're like we can win 8 games this year, 9 games this year, and he just stops. He's like, I don't want to talk about that. He's like, I don't care. If we don't make the playoffs, it doesn't matter. He's like, if you're not a playoff team, 9, 8 wins doesn't matter. You're talking about firing everybody, and that's how he is. And I thought that was really interesting, because that kind of what it sounded like what you said there. Like he expects that we're a playoff team. Anything less, he doesn't care what that is. And I think for me, I look at it as I want to be a part of it. We want to be a part of it together, of that team that's a Super Bowl team. But this is why I can't. Like, here's the thing: we can do all these things, and I can look out and I can make these predictive videos and say, well, Lions might win 9 games this year, and go schedule by schedule. But once the season starts, you throw all that out the window. If you can't do it with me, because you can't watch me predict the game before the game, because I'm predicting to win every single game. I can't help it. I predict every game right before the game starts. We're winning this football game, and here's why we're winning this game. And if we're a team that has, and the joke is like, hey, if we're ever in a playoff hunt, I'm saying we're making the playoffs. I'm looking at the scenarios, because I think that's internally, that's what I expect. We're sitting there, we're 3-5. I'm like, okay, here's how we make the playoffs. I expect them to do that. When Patricia had us at, what he had us at, 4-7. I think we beat Washington. It was like, okay, we're still alive. It's like, no, here's how they can make the playoffs. And then they fired everybody. But that's what it is for me. So I can say looking out, because right now I know the games aren't going on. I can try to predict out, like, okay, yeah, if we won 9, that'd be okay, because you do see the growth and this and that. But realistically, once we get in the season, if we fall short of the playoffs, I'm not happy. I'm not going to be happy when we lose. I immediately change my expectations every single week. I expect we win the football game. And if anything's short, I'm not happy with that. But for him, I think he turns that on before the season even starts. My dad's able to turn that on before the season starts if he understands I'm not going to be okay if this team's not a playoff team. I can't really turn that on until the season starts happening and we start losing, and then I'm like, oh, snap, I'm not okay with this. So I guess that's kind of my thing. I want to be a part of the winning. I want to be a part of it, of seeing the Lions win and going through that, something that they've never done at the highest level.